In this session, let us try to understand Recursive DNS Resolver. Many people just know the Recursive DNS Resolver, but they doesn't understand the concept behind it. So many people knows, right? As soon as you hit google.com, it will return you the IP. So what is happening inside this all this process? Many people doesn't know. So recursive resolver plays a important part in this all this process. So today's session we will cover in deep dive and explain in deep what is recursive DNS resolver, who exactly is a recursive DNS resolver, who runs it, where does it live, is it my router, ISP or Google or someone else who is acting as a recursive DNS resolver for me. So let's break down it slowly and clearly. So first question which we will try to understand is what is recursive DNS resolver? So recursive DNS resolver is a DNS server whose job is to perform full DNS lookup. Full DNS lookup on your behalf. Okay. So if you hit google.com, what is the IP of this? This is called as a DNS lookup. So DNS recursive resolver's job is to perform full DNS lookup on your behalf. So how does it does it, right? So it performs this task. First task which it does is it connects with root server. It asks root server. It asks root server, then it connect with TLD server and asks them what is the authoritative server. Then it asks next authoritative server what is the IP address of the server. Then authoritative server respond the IP address. As soon as it got it, it cache the answer or response. And fifth is it finally returns the IP to you. So these are the 5 tasks which it does. So if I want to give you a simple example, right, what is recursive DNS resolver, then consider them as a third party or a person who is actually working for you to get you the IP address from other entities directly to you. Okay. So that you don't need to worry what is happening after that. He is the person for you. That's what is recursive DNS resolver. His job is to connect with multiple entities in this network and get you the information. So that's what it actually does. So what process it does? It connects with root server, it connects with TLD server, it connects with authoritative server, it gets the response and say give it to you. So that's what it does. So it's kind of a helper, you can say. It can be a broker, you can say, which does all these tasks for you. So who runs this recursive DNS resolver, right? Now, if you are saying that recursive DNS resolver is a kind of an entity which helps you, now somebody will be running it, right? Who runs it? So the answer is it's a ISP. So as soon as the persons, the users log in onto their system or into their network, connect to their network, the private network, the ISP gives them the DNS server. DNS server means DNS recursive resolver. Okay, now how they got it? As soon as they log in into system, we have seen they fire a DHCP discover request, right? So as a part of this request, they will get the IP address, they will get subnet mask, they will get default gateway. Along with this, they will get a DNS server. information. This you can verify as a part of the command called ipconfig/all. If you fire this command in CMD, you will get this information. If I want to show you, it's here. I have fired this command for me, ipconfig/all, and you can see that I got these DNS servers. These are the DNS recursive resolver. They are the middleman or the helper for me who will give me the IP address for the domain URL whichever I hit in the browser. Okay. Now ISP, in my case I am using ACT. In your case you might use Airtel, BSNL, Geo, anybody, right? All the ISP will give you the DNS recursive resolver. So now obvious question will come is, when you connect to your system will forward it to router. Is my router equal to DNS recursive resolver? Then answer is no. Router doesn't act as a DNS recursive resolver. It's just a forwarder. It forward the request to the ISP recursive resolver. The ISP has a recursive resolver. Router doesn't act as a recursive resolver. Now another question is, okay, I am using a ISP's DNS recursive resolver. Now can I change it? Can I change it on my own in my system? Then answer is yes, you can change it. Now what is the benefit of changing it? What are the benefits of changing it? So there are multiple benefits of changing it. Other few are speed. One is speed. So your ISP, my ISP DNS recursive resolver is, at the end of the day, it's a server, right? So somebody will be managing it. Now how efficiently they will manage, what is their expertise, it's all depend on them, right? So that decide your speed. So there are some famous recursive resolver DNS servers, you can say, which are belongs to google.com, then Cloudflare, then Quad. They also has their DNS recursive resolver. You can directly connect to them. That is also possible. And since these are the very well-known companies and expert, they will give you a good speed. What are the other benefit? Better caching. Then they might give you less censorship. Now this is very important part to understand. Now what happens is, if your DNS server is run by your ISP, then ISPs is present inside the countries, right? Those are present inside the country. So government of the country govern them. They impose some rules on the ISP that some government doesn't want some content to be shown to the country people, right? For example, most well known is porn. Country doesn't want their people to watch more porn, so they block the sites, right? So these restrictions will be handled or implemented at the DNS level. So as soon as the user types some website, right, then if it is in the block list of DNS, then that request will be simply dropped from here only. It will not go ahead. So major restrictions happen at DNS. But if you are changing your DNS server to one of these, then you might end up with less censorship. So that is the benefit of using a different DNS server. Then it might gives you more privacy. It might gives you more privacy because just think of, it is reducing your censorship. So if it is reducing your censorship, you should not be exposed to the government, right? So some kind of privacy they are including. Then they also give you DNS security. So nobody can hack those requests. So this is also one of the extra benefit which you can get. So that is about this question of whether you can change your DNS. So yes, it's possible you can change your DNS. Now another thing is we have an enterprise. Many people come, many people works in the IT companies. These are called as the own enterprises, right? Then there are local servers. Local servers are like the local users. So in enterprises, you will find their own DNS servers. They run their own domain name systems. Domain controller. They are calling it as a domain controller. So that's why if you go to any IT company, right, you cannot access facebook.com, any social media website. How those restrictions will be maintained? Those are implemented at the domain controller level. As soon as somebody hit facebook.com, it will reach here and that packet will be simply dropped saying it is under restriction, right? It also helps IT companies or enterprises to block block malware domains, because there are some websites which induce the malware, so enterprises knows them, so they will block in case user mistakenly try to access them, so it will be blocked. Also for each user, whatever they access can be logged with the help of this DNS recursive resolver DNS systems. Okay, so that is what benefit you will get if you run your own domain controller. So if you are in the IT company, then these points are important for you. It might help you to understand it more, right? So another question is, where does this recursive resolver live? Where do they stay? Where are these server located? So those are located at the data centers. Obviously, this is, if it is a server, it obviously stays in the data center. So who all are data centers? Is ISP holds the data centers, there they are there. Then Google data centers, since Google is running their own DNS, they have Google. Then Cloudflare, then enterprise. Correct. Now just think of, there is some outage happened at big level because of Cloudflare issue, if you are aware, which happened recently. Now why it would have happened? Because Cloudflare runs a DNS recursive resolver. Now what does this means is, they help us to resolve the IP addresses for the domains, right? So if some companies explicitly using Cloudflare, and they do use it because it provides speed, privacy, and they are configurable for some companies, right? So they do use it. So some issue happened in their data centers for their DNS servers, and because of that they couldn't able to help us to resolve the IP address. So what is the problem it has caused? If user try to access some website like Atlassian, Jira, it couldn't able to reach, to the authoritative server, couldn't able to get us the IP addresses, and we couldn't able to view that site. That's why it can bring your internet down. If all DNS recursive resolvers are down, it can bring entire system down. So this is all about the recursive DNS resolver. I hope you would have understood now the recursive DNS resolver at deep level. So if you like this video, do share, subscribe, and tell your friends about my channel. Thank you.